I think their whole plan was trying to make it look like I was totally crazy, and so nobody would believe anything I had to say about anything.
On the lonely highways of Florida, men started disappearing, one after another. Bodies found in ditches, cars abandoned, wallets missing. But the biggest shock wasn't who was dying, it was who is the one doing the killing. Aileen Wuornos, a woman who became one of America's most infamous serial killers. Between 1989 and 1990, she murdered at least 7 men. Her case would challenge the world's perception of evil and of what creates it.
At 8 o'clock, time ticking away for serial killer Aileen Wuornos.
Her date with death set for about 90 minutes from now. 7's Patrick Frazier is live in Rayford as her sentence is about to be carried out. Good morning, Patrick.
Christine, in an hour and a half exactly, Aileen Wuornos will be injected with a poison. Within about 2 minutes, she will begin to stop breathing. Now, it's tough to say who will be happier that she is dying, the families of the victims she brutally murdered or Aileen Wuornos.
Born on February 29, 1956, in Rochester, Michigan, a suburb of Detroit. Aileen's mother, Diane Wuornos, was only aged 14 when she married Aileen's father, 18-year-old Leo Arthur Pittman, on June 3, 1954. On March 14, 1955, Diane gave birth to Aileen's older brother Keith. After less than 2 years of marriage, and 2 months before Aileen was born, Diane filed for divorce. She gave birth to Aileen at the age of 16. Aileen never knew her biological father, as he was sentenced life imprisonment for kidnapping and molestation of a 7-year-old child, and later committed suicide by hanging in prison on January 30, 1969. Aileen and her brother Keith were raised by their grandparents Lori and Britta Wuornos, but their home was marked by alcoholism, anger, and abuse. She grew up feeling unwanted and unloved, often clashing with authority and running away from home.
Both thought her own grandparents were her real parents, and her mother Diane a sister rather than their true mother. This placed the kids, if you like, under a false pretext. At some point they're going to find out that this is not really the case.
In her early teens, Aileen had already faced a lifetime of hardship. She dropped out of school and began drifting, spending nights outdoors and surviving any way she could. Reports also suggest that Aileen was involved in a disturbing relationship with her brother Keith. The 1970s became Aileen's highway years. She hitchhiked across the country, Michigan, Colorado, Florida, picking up work wherever possible and often getting into trouble. Arrests followed her for minor crimes like theft, disorderly conduct, and fraud. In 1976, Aileen Wuornos hitchhiked her way to Florida, a move that would mark the beginning of a new and turbulent chapter in her life. There, she met 69-year-old Louis Gratz Fell, a wealthy yacht club president. Their relationship escalated quickly, leading to marriage, so fast that their wedding announcement even made it to the local newspaper's society pages. But behind the headlines, chaos brewed. Wuornos was frequently involved in bar fights, her temper and drinking spiraling out of control. Her outbursts eventually landed her in jail for assault. Things only worsened when she struck her husband with his own cane, forcing him to file a restraining order against her just weeks after their vows.
He was pretty well off, and perhaps it was her best chance of some kind of normal life because he was spending money on her, but she was not able to curtail those outbursts and to behave like a normal person.
After the fallout, Wuornos left Florida and returned to Michigan, but trouble followed her there too. On July 14, 1976, she was arrested at Bernie's Club in Mansalona for assault and disturbing the peace, after hurling a cue ball straight at a bartender's head.
Whether it was by prostitution, by threat, by theft, she'd been brought up with a history of shoplifting, and she often used her volatile nature, aggressive, sudden turn to violence as a tool to make her way through this.
Her life spiraled again. She drifted from place to place, working odd jobs and often returning to the streets. Police described her as unpredictable, a woman who could turn from charming to furious in seconds.
From childhood, she had progressively engaged in drugs, alcohol, to a very high extent, and this became, if you like, her daily fueling of her behaviour and her sustenance. Often these would be probably used as currency for her prostitute behaviour. She would have been, much of the time, drunk.
In 1986, Aileen met Tyria Moore, a hotel maid in Daytona Beach. For the first time in her life, she felt a deep connection, someone who accepted her completely. The two began living together, surviving mostly on Aileen's street work. But love couldn't cover the bills. They lived on the edge of poverty, moving from one rundown motel to another. As the years went by, Aileen's resentment toward men grew stronger, a reflection of the pain and rejection she had carried all her life.
It's men?
I never hated men, but now I do. I mean, not all. I have a category. I hate those male... God. I hate those male cops. Real bad, because they're dirtballs. The cops, the judges, the lawyers, they're all male.
By the end of the 1980s, Florida's highways were lined with truck stops, motels, and bars. The perfect hunting ground for a drifter. Aileen Wuornos knew those roads better than anyone. To her, they were both home and hunting ground. Her first known victim was Richard Mallory, a 51-year-old electronics shop owner from Clearwater, Florida. On November 30th, 1989, he picked up Aileen while she was hitchhiking. 2 days later, his abandoned car was found in Volusia County. His body was discovered soon after, shot multiple times with a .22 caliber pistol.
She had told me that she had killed someone, and I didn't believe her.
Investigators initially believed it was a robbery gone wrong. But weeks later, another man vanished. Then another.
She would either find her victims when she picked them up as a John, or she would stand by abandoned cars on the side of the road, and motorists would stop and pull over thinking that she was a female in distress. Between May and November of 1990, 6 more men were found dead, all shot with the same type of gun. Their names were David Spears, Charles Carskadden, Peter Seames, Troy Burris, Charles Humphreys, and Walter Antonio. The fact that we did not catch her is simply because she was unique in her style, that she was a female, that she did leave the body away from the car, and it made it hard to put it all together.
Each was found along a stretch of Florida's highways. Cars abandoned, wallets missing, bodies discarded in rural areas. The pattern was clear. Aileen and her partner, Tyria Moore, were often seen driving the victims' cars or pawning their belongings.
The chair?
There's no sense in having me tormented for the rest of my life when I don't deserve to be tormented. I did what anybody else would do. And so there's only clemency or the chair. You make your pick, people.
Police from several counties formed a task force. They connected the dots, the same weapon, the same area, and the same drifter couple seen at multiple scenes. By late 1990, composite sketches of 2 women driving stolen cars began circulating in the media. Tips poured in, and one name kept coming up: Aileen Wuornos.
Serial killings seem to have become a brutal fact of life. tragically, they happen so often, they sometimes take on a horrible familiarity. But there's one string of murders unlike any you've ever heard about.
Put in the newspaper, we start getting a lot of calls from the Daytona Beach area, from the Port Orange area, indicating that they were seen.
On January 9th, 1991, police found their suspect. Aileen was arrested at a biker bar in Volusia County called The Last Resort.
Under arrest. For what? For a warrant. For what warrant? A warrant.
Tyria Moore was also taken in for questioning. Authorities made her a deal. Help us get Aileen's confession, and you walk free. And quickly, she cooperated.
So I had nothing to do with any of this, and I had to leave. It's like I have to get away from.
Over the next few days, police recorded phone calls between Tyria and Aileen. Tyria begged her to confess, saying she couldn't live with the guilt.
I don't know whether I should keep on living or if I should...
No, Ty, listen.
What if they don't believe me?
Ty, listen.
What?
I'm not going to let you go to jail or anything. Listen, if I have to confess, I will.
Okay. Yes. Why now did you do this?
Huh?
Why did you do this?
I don't know. Listen, Ty.
Wait.
I'll probably never be able to see you.
Yes.
I love you.
Aileen finally broke. She confessed to the murders, saying each one was committed in self-defense, that every man had tried to harm her first. But investigators doubted her story. The evidence suggested robbery, not survival. Many victims had been fully clothed, shot at close range, and left behind with their valuables missing. Aileen Wuornos went to trial in January 1992 for the murder of Richard Mallory, the first of her 7 known victims. The prosecution argued that her motive was greed, not self-defense. They used Florida's new similar fact evidence law, which allowed them to present details of her other murders to establish a pattern of intent.
You ain't nothing but a bunch of scum.
Therefore, these proceedings are now
Putting
concluded.
somebody who was raped to death.
After only a few hours of deliberation, the jury found her guilty of first-degree murder. Aileen remained calm, even defiant, as the verdict was read. She would later be convicted of 6 more murders, each resulting in a death sentence. In total, Aileen Wuornos received 6 death sentences, the most ever given to a single woman in U.S. history at that time. The world now saw her as a monster, the damsel of death, the highway killer. But behind the headlines was a deeply disturbed woman, one who believed she had been fighting back her entire life.
Maybe you were just born bad.
Boy, I don't know about you. I'm telling you, man. No, I wasn't born bad. You guys got it. See, I'm trying to tell you, man, they lied. They lied so bad to you all.
Over the next decade, she remained on death row at Florida State Prison. During her interviews, she often shifted between remorse, anger, and paranoia, believing the police were profiting from her story and the media was twisting her life into a spectacle. In her final years, she refused further appeals. She said she was ready to go, ready to end what she called the chaos.
I am sorry that my acts of self-defense ended up in court like this, but I take full responsibility for my actions. It was them or me. I am sorry for all the pain that my actions have caused. I am prepared to die if you say it is necessary.
On October 9, 2002, Aileen Wuornos was executed by lethal injection. She refused to the traditional last meal that death row inmates are offered. Instead, she chose to have only a cup of coffee. Her refusal is often seen as symbolic, a reflection of her state of mind and her defiance toward the system that condemned her.
Do you want to die?
Her last words were, "I'll be back." like Independence Day with Jesus. A statement that left both the witnesses and the world in silence.
9:47 this morning, the case of the state of Florida versus Aileen Wuornos was carried out at Florida State Prison in a very professional and humane manner.
After her execution, Aileen Wuornos didn't fade from public memory. She became a figure of controversy and fascination. To some, she was a symbol of rage against years of mistreatment, a tragic reflection of what happens when a human being is pushed too far. To others, she was the embodiment of cold-blooded evil, a predator who used sympathy as a weapon. Hollywood then soon followed. In 2003, Charlize Theron portrayed her in the film Monster, earning an Academy Award for her chilling transformation. The movie painted Aileen not just as a killer, but as a broken soul, lost somewhere between victimhood and vengeance. But beyond the headlines, the interviews, and the films, lies a story that forces us to confront uncomfortable questions. What shapes a murderer? Is evil born or made? And how much pain can one person endure before they begin to inflict it on others?
Oh man, if I was to leave this planet, it wouldn't be no big deal to me, because this is a wicked, wicked world. Wicked world.
Aileen Carol Wuornos' life was a storm of violence, tragedy, and despair. A reflection of a system that failed her and a soul that chose the darkest path of all.